Hi, I'm Kathy Gallant, and I'd like to welcome you to the Blue Moon Evolution Kitchen. Yesterday I had the pleasure of strolling through our winter farmers market, where there was an abundance of hardy winter squashes. And today I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to prepare them. We had a beautiful variety. We could see the Cinderella squash, the classic Blue Hubbard. Everyone knows a butternut squash. And today we're going to work with my favorite, the red curry squash. So today we're going to prepare a simple squash souffle using our roasted red curry squash, some farm fresh eggs. I'm going to use cream. Today I'm using a Swiss cheese from Boggy Meadow Farms. Any type of cheddar or smoked cheese is a delicious addition. Feel free to use what you have. We're going to use some dried sage, enhance the squash with just a pinch of nutmeg, salt, and I'm going to use cayenne pepper today for our heat. I love this red curry squash, and my first way of preparing it is I roast it, just a simple roast, and serve it with my dinner. And the recipe for the souffle comes from the leftovers the second night after I've prepared, roasted, and served the squash very simply. So I'll just start you through that process of, it takes about half an hour. I have this beautiful knife that I'm going to use, but any large knife will work. You want to split your squash in half. I'm going to just scoop out these seeds. They can be cleaned out and roasted like you would a pumpkin seed, a little salt, and they're a great snack in the evening. But you just want to hollow out your squash. Seeds are jumping. Simple, beautiful, rich flesh, vitamin rich, so good for you. And once you have them split in half, you want to place them flat side down on a baking sheet. I add about a half a cup of water, just right on top of everything. And then I'm going to just loosely tent this, put that in there, with foil. Put it in a 350-degree oven to bake for about half an hour. So after about 30 minutes in your oven, your squash should be tender to the touch to know that it's ready for your meal. And traditionally, I use this squash for dinner the first night, and we'll just scoop this out with a simple butter, salt, and pepper with our dinner. And the souffle comes from the leftovers from this roasted squash. So dinner one night, save what's left on your roasting pan, and we'll go ahead and make the second night's meal. So we're going to just scoop out the squash after it's cooled, whatever's left from your dinner, and really it's just basically taking a small soup spoon, scraping against the skin, pulling out all of the flesh. This is a little delicate. And when you've scooped out the remains, you're going to end up with a nice, vibrant, rich squash, which will be the beginning for our souffle. So before we begin creating our souffle, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and gather your souffle dish. Any type of ceramic container will do, from a large family size bowl to what we're going to be using today with an individual souffle dish. You want to get some nice butter. We're going to butter this ramekin and get it ready for baking. So just a generous amount covering all the surfaces. And after you have your souffle dish buttered, just pull this out here, we've got this ready. You're going to set it in a water bath that you could have about an inch of water in the container that surrounds your souffle dish. So these are all buttered and ready to go. We're going to start our recipe. So as we begin our souffle, we're going to gather the ingredients. We need half a dozen 6 eggs, 2 cups of heavy cream, 2 cups of shredded cheese. We have 3 cups of the cooled red curry squash, some sage leaf. I have whole here, but you can use rubbed sage as well. Some coarse salt, little pinch of nutmeg, and cayenne for heat. So I've just added 5 eggs into my mixing bowl. I'm going to add my 6th egg. And this whipping is very important because the body of the souffle is the beaten egg. It will bind, it will raise, it will hold your souffle together. So you want to beat this for a good minute plus. After doing that, we're going to add our heavy cream. And I'm just going to continue to mix this to keep the egg blending. Just a couple good whips. I'm going to add the 3 cups of cooked squash. It's a beautiful, rich color. You can see it's just becoming really like a custard. Almost like a savory pumpkin pie with extra egg. I'm going to add my cheese. Remember, I've saved a ½ cup off to the side that I'm going to top my souffles with, just to give them a little golden brown color. We do eat with our eyes. And the sage. This is from Stout Oak Farm. It's beautiful sage leaf. I just love how the aroma reminds me of being out in the garden. It's just kind of a way to bring nature into the kitchen. I think that's what we love about food. A good pinch of salt, I'll call that a teaspoon. I'm going to use a measuring spoon for my spices, just, oops. Actually, there we are. I have a 1/16 of a teaspoon of nutmeg and half of that of cayenne, just a little pinch. So I'm going to take all of these ingredients, give them a good whip, and they're ready for the souffle dishes. So our oven is heated to 350 degrees. We've got our souffle batter all set, our buttered ramekins in their water bath. We're going to fill them 3/4 of the way full, top them with a little shredded cheese, and then they're going to be ready to bake in the oven for 30 minutes. I'm going to use a ladle to get my batter into my souffle dishes, just an easy pour. Sometimes if you curl that ladle, it just helps the drip. And I'm going to fill them up and get them ready for the oven. That last one. So after we have them all filled about 3/4 of the way through, I'm just going to do a little sprinkle of the Swiss on top. Just give it that nutty golden topping. And they're ready for the oven. So our beautiful souffles are hot out of the oven. I did raise my temperature to 400 degrees to give them a nice golden color. They lifted up and they're ready to eat. I'm going to just give this one a little taste. Delicious, beautiful, savory, cheesy, a wonderful entree to serve with a dark green salad for a winter meal. And when you're in this creative process, remember that the kitchen is a place to enjoy yourself, to experiment and stretch recipes. If you have roast pumpkin instead of the squash or butternut squash, feel free to substitute or a different cheese. Just play with the flavors till you use what you have. You celebrate the beautiful bounty of this fall harvest. And next time in the Blue Moon Kitchen, we'll introduce you to one of my favorite dark leafy greens, kale.